Welcome and thank you for keeping it KTN Farmers TV. Today we are talking about biogas and biogas production, and with me is Dr. Jacinta Mwirigi, who is a vet by profession and a biogas expert. Welcome to the show, Dr.
Thank you.
Tell us a little about yourself and how you found yourself promoting biogas.
Okay. I am a veterinarian by profession. Then for both my postgraduate studies, I went to study environmental science, and I specialized on waste management in livestock sector. And biogas is one of the tools that manages waste.
Okay.
So I specialized on biogas in both of my postgraduate degrees.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we talk about biogas, what is it exactly?
Biogas is a gas that is produced when organic matter decomposes in an airtight environment, which also has water. By organic, I mean materials from crops and livestock. Yes.
So how easy is it to produce biogas, or how difficult is it?
Biogas is a very simple and yet very complex technology in that you just put organic matter in a container which has no air and it has water, and it produces biogas. But otherwise, it's a very long chain of chemical reactions that do that, and the environment requires to be correct for the sustainability or the sustainable production. Otherwise, initially you will produce biogas, but to continue producing it, there are certain other conditions that must be fulfilled.
Okay.
Yes.
What are these conditions that must be fulfilled?
One of them, I have said, it has to be airtight. There is no oxygen. And then there has to be water. And then the organic matter now starts decomposing. The water decomposes the matter through hydrolysis or breaking down through water. And then a chain of bacteria take that matter and start decomposing it further. One type of bacteria decomposes it to acid. Another one picks it and decomposes it further to acetic compounds. And the last chain of bacteria in the chain, they pick it and break it into methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, water vapor, and others. And it's only when the methane level in that composition is over 60% that gas can ignite to produce heat and light, and that's when we call it biogas. Okay. Yes.
So what are the benefits of biogas?
The benefits of biogas are many. We can categorize them as socio, economic, environmental, and political benefits. Okay. Economically, you find that when you use waste, especially let's say like cow dung, to produce gas for household use, you are saving on cooking energy, and you are also saving the country from importing methane or the natural gas. So it saves the individual and the country. Socially, you know, when you have been cooking with firewood and charcoal, biogas is produced where there is a lot of organic or matter, and that is mostly in the rural areas. And in the rural areas, you find that people cook with firewood and charcoal. At least 70% of the people in the rural areas cook with firewood and charcoal. And you know, the firewood produces smoky fumes, and the kitchen is smoky, and then you find that the people who are inhaling or cooking there or seated there when cooking is taking place, they are inhaling those gases, and they get respiratory and eye problems and other problems. So even health benefits are there. And then environmentally, you find that biogas, it saves on trees which are cut to provide firewood and charcoal. So when you use biogas, you are saving on trees, and we need at least 10% tree cover for our land so that the trees can provide us with oxygen. Trees, they breathe out oxygen and breathe in carbon dioxide. Human beings do the opposite. So when they are doing that, they are purifying the air for us. Another thing is that if you leave that waste to rot in the environment, it produces methane. Methane is one of those gases called greenhouse gases that go up in the environment, and they cause a cover in the environment such that the earth starts warming. We call it global warming. So it prevents or it controls global warming from the waste from agricultural production. Okay. Further, when you use biogas, you find that that waste, like let's say cow dung, poultry waste and all that, it would litter the compound and attract parasites and pests. So when you use biogas, then that waste is corrected and used properly. So you clean the environment, so you reduce diseases both in humans and livestock. Yeah. So those are environmental benefits. Politically, we know that the stability of countries has been associated with energy sustainability or self-sufficiency. So when our people are self-sufficient with energy, then we can say politically we are becoming stable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about adoption of this technology, how easy or how difficult it is? Is it?
It is easy, but there are some challenges. Some of them are, we can say they are financial challenges, because biogas, for you to adopt, you need the source of raw material. Like if you are using animal waste, you need maybe cows or chicken or pigs. That one is, you need to be able to factor that one. And then you need RAD, where you can construct the biogas. You need RAD tenure security, because like the sustainable biogas units, they can stay for up to 50 years. So if you don't have RAD tenure security, you might fear to put up the unit, because you might see like it's a waste of money. You also need to have somewhere to dispose of the waste that will come from the biogas production. And that one will require also RAD. So you need capital to start with. Okay. So economically, it becomes sometimes challenging. And if that one is overcome somehow, the adoption otherwise is easy.
So, Dr. Yes. You've talked about land being one of the factors when considering to set up a biogas. Yes. How big or how small of land do I need to set up a biogas? And how many different sizes of biogas can be set up?
First of all, there are very many designs of biogas units or biodigesters that you can install. There are some which are permanent, which are constructed. There are some which are mobile. There are some that are semi-mobile. You can fix them, but when you want really to move them, you can move them. And the size depends on what you want to digest, the materials that you have, or the amount of gas that you want to produce. So I don't know whether that one.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of this material,
yes,
how often is the biodigester being fed with this material?
Okay. We have two types of digester feeding, how much you will feed it. And if you want to think of a biogas digester, think about your digestive system. The biodigester has an inlet, like the way you have a mouth. Then it has the digester itself, which digests the material to produce biogas, just like the way you have a stomach. And then there is the exit of the digested material, just like the way the fecal material comes out. And once it is digested, it's just like the stomach. The biogas comes out to do work, that is cooking and writing and many more others, just like the way you get energy from digesting food in your stomach, and then there is waste that is produced. Okay. So to feed it, you can feed it regularly, and you can feed it daily, weekly, or monthly, depending on how you want to feed it and the size of the biodigester. You can also have a batch. Batch means that you can put a lot of waste in one container, and then it stays there until all the material is digested. Meanwhile, it is producing gas. And when that material is exhausted, then you remove everything and you put a new. So the first one is called continuous, because you feed every day and it just works like the stomach, giving you energy and waste. The other one is that it is a one time, and you only remove everything. We call it retention time. Retention time is the time the material can stay for that all the gas is removed from that raw material. Oh. For example, the retention time of cow dung is 60 days. So if you have cow dung and you put it in a container, you can use gas for 60 days without adding anything, and you have to put a lot to fill that container, and then that one is called batch. But you can also fill that container, and then you start filling only the materials you have per day, and then it will continue forever like that, because now it has the starting amount and the continuous amount.
Okay.
Yes.
Talking of this material, can I only have biogas back in the village or in my land, or there's biogas that can be generated within the city or in urban areas?
Yeah, biogas comes from any organic matter. Even in your home, in your homestead, you have a lot of organic matter. You have food waste, that is sometimes the food remains. Institutions like universities, schools, prisons, hospitals, they produce a lot of waste. Right now in urban centers, we have the public toilets. Those toilets produce a lot of organic matter, which can be biodigested to produce biogas that can be used to clean those places with hot water. We have a lot of dump sites, and because some of those dump sites are excavated, sometimes they are in lower grounds, there is also water draining there. They also produce biogas with time. You can literally produce biogas anywhere where you are, as long as you have some organic matter. Waste from the markets and all that, you can construct a biogas unit and you produce biogas.
Okay.
Yes.
Talking of the waste,
Yes.
that is the byproduct of the of what comes out of the biodigester.
Yes.
What can I use it for?
Yeah, that is a good question. And one of the problems we have been having with the promoters of biogas is that they have only been promoting biogas technology as the only product. But otherwise, biogas production produces two products. One of them is biogas, which is an energy source. The other one is the slurry, the digested material, which is a better fertilizer than the composted fertilizer because the material is already digested. It's like giving somebody something which is already digested. You just swallow and you use it directly. And then it has water. And water is an important component in crop production. So it has two components, and biogas production has two components, which should be promoted as such, not as biogas alone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of the work that goes into it, how easy or how difficult is it to operate a biogas or the whole system?
Yeah. Now, when we talk of biogas, we have two systems. We have the biodigester and accompanying structures. Like you have to have somewhere you mix that waste with water because water is the first step in the reactions that take place to produce biogas. So whatever material you have, it has to be mixed with water. And the ratio depends on the type of material and the consistency. For example, for cow dung, the ratio of water to the cow dung is 1:1. If you have 1 bucket of cow dung, you must add 1 bucket of water. If you have something like poultry dust or poultry waste, which is a bit dry, you might add more water. Depending on the waste, you have to add the water. And then it is digested. And right now we have digesters which are self-operating. Just like the stomach, you just put the food, it is digested, and the other one comes out without you adding anything.
Oh.
So they are self-regulating. And from the digester at the top, the lower part is the one which contains the material to be digested. The 2/3 lower thirds. The upper 1/3 is where the gas accumulates. I'm talking of fixed dome biodigesters, which are the most recent and the most efficient in production of biogas.
Okay.
And that at the top of that biodigester, there is a pipe which takes the gas to your kitchen. In the kitchen or in the place that you want to use it, we call it user point. Then it depends on what you want to use the biogas for. You can use it for cooking, for heating, maybe water. You can use their fridges that use biogas. There are showers that use biogas, there are showers that use biogas. There are many uses of biogas. So depending on the appliances that you have, you'll be able to use it. It's just writing like the way you write the just natural gas, and it will just write. You can also convert biogas if you are producing big quantities into electricity. It's just an energy like diesel. So you can have a biogas electricity producer from there, and it will just produce electricity.
Okay.
Generator, yeah, I mean.
Or generator. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure for the viewers who are watching us right now,
Yes.
I'm sure they are wondering what is the cost, or how cheap or how expensive is it to set up one, and does it come with all those parts that you've talked about, the gas, the pipe that takes the gas to the kitchen, all those? Does it come as a set, or how does it work?
We have many types of biodigesters. We have the ones which are mobile. And those who promote those ones, they bring that mobile equipment with the gas channels. And they might also bring it with the cookers or other appliances, or they might leave you to go and buy them. They are available in the market. They are suppliers or sellers of the appliances.
Okay.
When we come to the one that we really want to promote, it is called fixed dome. It is constructed underground. And you can construct it using bricks, cement bricks, even soil bricks. You can use quarry stones, although they are not very recommended, because when you construct the biogas, there is a lot of pressure. Sometimes there is a lot of expansion and contraction. When you use quarry stones, they don't do that very well, but bricks, they do that well. They can expand because they have joints. So you find that those things, you can get them locally, and you just construct. And if you don't have them, you can make like the cement blocks just locally, and then you just construct. So the materials are locally available for construction of the biodigester. Now the appliances is the ones that you have to purchase from the market.
Okay.
And they are available. They are suppliers of the appliances.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the cheapest, or which is in terms of uh, uh, making this biogas system? Which one can you say is the cheapest, and how much, if you can give us a figure?
Well, I might not give a figure because there are many promoters and they are giving maybe a range, but you find that they are
a rough figure.
Yeah, there are those ones that have been sold at around 50,000, and it depends on the size, because now about a 10 cubic meter. Then there are those semi-permanent ones which you can get even 2 cubic meters at a small price like 30,000, but it will not be very effective. So you might have to multiply that one by 4, maybe you get from 60,000. And then there is the fixed dome, which you can construct a smaller one, like 4 cubic meters, which can cost around 60,000 also. But for an average farmer, we have production about 2 to 5 cows. Let me take cattle for example. You might need around 80 to 100,000 to construct about 8 to 12 cubic meter biogas unit that will give you gas that can be able to cook for 8 hours and continuous hours and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how is the adaptability of this technology as we speak?
The adaptability of the biogas is not so bad. It takes peaks. It kind of comes in waves. When there is a promoter who is very serious on it, like the last one we had was the African Biogas Initiative, I think they constructed over 20,000 biogas units in the country. Before that, we had the Kenya National Biogas domestic biogas program. They also constructed a number. Before then, we had the GTZ, the German Technical Corporation. Whenever we have a promoter, people pick it up. Maybe because awareness is created, and also sometimes they offer subsidies which attract the farmers. Otherwise, generally, it moves at a slow pace. Yes.
You've talked about awareness,
Yes.
and I'm trying to figure out if there's no promoter, the uptake is a little bit low.
Yes.
So how can we, if someone is out there and thinking about biogas, where can they get information about all these things you've been telling us about the biogas?
Yeah, biogas, as I have said, is energy, and it comes from agricultural production. So we have two departments that can always give you this information. One of them is the Ministry of Energy. Wherever there is a station, you can walk there, they will tell you about biogas. The other one is the Ministry of Agriculture, which is distributed across the whole country. If you walk there, they will be able either to connect you to a biogas constructor, or they will tell you a promoter, or they give you more information on how to go about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have laws and policies governing the production of biogas?
Maybe what I can say is that which came up recently and which is very good, we have standards that have been set for biodigesters. The fixed dome and another one called the floating drum, although that one is almost facing itself, the technology is almost facing itself out. And also we have standards for the appliances, which have been put up by the Kenya Bureau of Standards. Because previously anybody used to come with anything, a container, and then promote it. And then because I have said sustainability requires like that unit to be airtight, to be able to regurgitate or to stir the contents, just like the way your stomach moves. that it should have its mechanism of stirring itself. You require it to be able to remove the waste once it's digested and all that. So once they come with a container that is able just to digest initially, and then it doesn't have those mechanisms, it fails.
Oh.
So that is one of the things that has been discouraging biogas adoption. You construct something expensively and then it doesn't work. But now we have standards by the Kenya Bureau of Standards.
Okay.
And now with those ones, almost anybody can follow them and construct something which can move on.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's under the Ministry of Energy and it follows the other laws in the Ministry of Energy.
Okay.
Yes.
When we talk about, if you compare us with other countries,
Yes.
Where do you think Kenya stands when it comes to the use of biogas?
If I compare it with the East African region, we are doing well. Tanzania might be slightly ahead of us, but we are doing well. But the Asian countries have really adopted this technology. We can't compare ourselves with Asia. We are talking about 50,000 or less units in the country. Whereas in Asia, you'll find they could have 1 million or more in some Asian countries. So we still have a lot to do. A lot of promotion, a lot of awareness creation, a lot of demonstrations, and we need a lot of promoters.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you think the government and the county governments are doing enough? The national government and the county government is doing enough to promote this particular system? Now that energy is one of the biggest problems we have in the country, do you think these two governments are doing enough to promote the biogas?
I think they are trying, but they need to do more. For example, when we had the Kenya National Domestic Biogas Unit, there was a lot of adoption. So when it kind of went down, it's like a biogas went down. So these things needs to be a continuous thing. We also need to set up a body that can promote biogas separately, because now it is housed in the Ministry of Energy, and you can't compare it with hydropower or geothermal, which are highly funded, and they produce a lot of energy. So for it to come up, to shine, or to be understood, we need a constant or a regular promoter, and to somebody who will be able to regulate and check outside the Ministry of Energy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of, are there any disadvantages
of having biogas?
Yes.
I think there are more advantages than disadvantages. I simply cannot see any disadvantages of biogas, because one thing, you can use waste from your agro-processing plant. Like if you have a slaughterhouse, you can use the waste material from the digestive system of cows, the blood, the condemned meat to produce biogas. If you are on the farm, you can use it. I cannot see any disadvantage of using biogas.
Okay.
I can't see of any. I can't think of any.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. We will take a short commercial break, but we will be back in a few. For our viewers back at home, we are just taking a short commercial break. We will be back, and if you've joined us a little bit later today, we are talking about biogas production and what it takes to produce biogas. So don't go away.